What's going on, guys? The Crypto Lark here. Today we are going to be talking about ChainLink. Now, ChainLink, very interesting project looking to make themselves as the middleman between the real world and the smart contract world. Very interesting stuff. We're going to be talking about the team, the competition, and what's going on with the project in general. After a quick shout out to everyone who has been hitting that like button and subscribing down below to the channel. Button's right there. Are you subscribed yet? Also, if you want to support me over as Patreon as a patron, that would be super awesome. Or, of course, you can always join me along at steemit.com as well. Now, quick disclaimer also, this is not professional financial advice, guys. It's just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies. Let's check it out. So, what is ChainLink trying to do? They want to be the middleman, essentially. You might think, well, that sounds kind of boring, Lark. Well, the project is kind of boring, but it's also exciting at the same time. Essentially, you have smart contracts and you have real world data. And right now, it's kind of like this. They don't really link together. You want them to be like this. And so what's a smart contract, you might say? Well, let's take that back to the beginning. A smart contract is a contract that wears glasses. No, I'm being silly, guys. Look, a smart contract is kind of another way of saying an automated contract, right? A lot of stuff that goes on in the digital world actually takes place with smart contracts. So say, for example, X happens, well then Y happens, something like that. However, in order for Y to happen, there needs to be something else that happens. And a lot of times you might say, for example, digital exchanges, for example. Okay, we exchanged money. I sent, CZ sent, it sends off to you. That's easy for a computer to do. Where it starts to become a lot trickier is, well, what about real world data? Financial transactions, security, insurance, all these different things. That's a lot harder, and to get the middleman, we need something called an oracle. And that's really what ChainLink is trying to do, is set up a network of decentralized oracles which will allow for this to happen. Look, if you have a look here, it gives you kind of an idea of how it happens, right? So here we go, we've got, outer world information hitting ChainLink, and then visualize how it works here. It's a pretty simple idea, like I said. Now, it's a simple idea, but it's very, very powerful too. Currently, they're working with Swift, and we're going to come back and talk about that in a minute, because that's where the real hype around ChainLink, I think, comes in. But their proposition is very powerful and has a lot of real-world applications. For example, security smart contracts, stuff like bonds, interest rates, different kind of real-world market data can be brought across. Powerful, obviously. Trillions of dollars traded every day. Insurance smart contracts. Now this is really, really interesting. I really like this one as well. Obviously, the insurance industry is always looking for ways to streamline. The insurance industry is always looking for ways to verify that what happened. Right? So you might see a situation like your warehouse was broken into, but you have an electronic security system, and so they can just check that using this. So they can get the real world data from your security system in order to activate the smart contract for your insurance. Flight's late, real world data from the airport, issuance smart contract. Great stuff. And of course, really, really big potential applications for the shipping and trade industry. Obviously, there's a lot of players in the space right now who are trying to shake that space up and get shipping and data from the supply chain and all these things digitized in a way that's very, very useful for people. And again, ChainLink can be the middleman here. ChainLink can be the company that actually brings all of that stuff together. So it'd be very, very interesting to see if they can really position themselves as that middleman. And like I said, they're already working with Swift, which is where all the exciting stuff comes in. Now you can have a look here. This is basically how you create yourself a ChainLink. You can come over here and you can do it with Bitcoin or Ethereum or the Town Crier ChainLink. That's something a little bit different, but For our interest, Ethereum and Ethereum and Bitcoin chain links. You can go here and create your own if you so desire. Now, you might be wondering, well, what's the Link token do? Well, not a lot, and that's one thing as a prospective investor you might want to consider. It doesn't give you payout like other coins do. It is used to pay the node operators, and so as a regular holder, not a lot of potential benefit there for you, although I can see the value on this one going up quite a bit as they get more and more partnerships. Okay, let's look at the team. We got Sergey and we got Steve. It's a pretty small team. Sergey here, he's been working in stuff like this for quite a while, secure assets and different things like this. And Steve also, pretty decent resume for a tech company like these guys are trying to do. My biggest criticism here is, where the heck's the rest of the team, guys? You have a $160 million market cap for your company. Hire some more people, dudes. Seriously. In fact, these guys are terrible at social media. That's one thing that I've seen, is that they kind of don't really get back to people on their social media pages. And you can see here the last post on Twitter is September 14th. And so look, this is a company that desperately needs to get more people on board. They need a marketing manager, they need a PR manager, they need some more developers. Maybe they're just trying to take all the gains for themselves, but like they could still hire a couple people. So I would like to see that. That's not a big criticism against them. Maybe they're just too busy writing code and all that crap. Could be the case. But nevertheless, they could have a much bigger presence online, and that would actually help companies get to them as well. Now, obviously, the big news here is Swift. What's Swift? Swift is the leading global international exchange operator, and that's bank-to-bank exchanges. Have you ever tried to send money internationally? I've done it a lot. And anytime you go to the bank to do it, A, it's a pain in the butt. It takes like an hour to fill out the form and sit there and wait and blah, 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 blah. I remember sitting one time in Hawaii for hours trying to explain, I want to send money to New Zealand, but I don't want to receive American dollars. I want to receive New Zealand dollars. And the lady was just like, what? So obviously any way that we can streamline this process would be very, very good. And so look, Swift and ChainLink are working very closely together. They're going to have a conference actually on the 16th, so it's a very timely time to talk about ChainLink. So on the 16th of October, the Sibos conference is taking place. ChainLink obviously invited to the party. And so during this, there'll be a lot of different banks and big players from the industry there, and they will be presenting this technology to them. Now, I seem to remember some other bank-to-bank transfer service was also having a conference in Toronto on the 16th. Who could that have been? Ripple. Look at the size of like the big steel balls on these guys. They said, oh, Sibos, you're going to have a conference? That's nice. We're going to do one too. Same day, same town, probably across the street from each other. I could just imagine like the beef when like, the Swift and ChainLink team like run into like the Ripple team at the bar late at night, like, oh, it's them. Let's get them. No, but seriously, that's a pretty bold move on the part of Ripple. Obviously, some really big people headlining the Ripple event as well. Bernanke and Tim Berners-Lee, for example, the inventor of the internet, if you will. Pretty cool. Obviously, the competition between these two companies is huge. We just had Ripple come out and say they've got a $15 billion cryptocurrency war chest that they're ready to use to take down any rivals or to work together with any rivals. So I don't know if that was aimed at the guys over at Swift or not, but interesting nevertheless. Obviously, Ripple, big competition for Swift, not so much big competition for ChainLink, though. You gotta point that out here. I know a lot of people are talking about the Swift ChainLink connection, maybe hyping it up a bit too much, and that's pretty hype worthy, to be fair. But ChainLink can do so much more than just that, although that's an amazing partnership for them to have right now. Absolutely amazing. but they're not I also got to point out, they're not the only people in the Oracle space. You also have companies like Eternity, for example. They're also looking at decentralized oracles. It's also a thing that they do. So it's not like they're unique to the space. They are primarily running off the hype of being involved with Swift, which is pretty hype-worthy, as mentioned. But I'd like to see them get some more big partnerships. The value of ChainLink moving forward will really depend on that. So we've seen ChainLink up to 45 cents, or 8,527 Satoshi a piece. Currently there are 350 million links floating around the interwebs. And now look, we've seen a really nice run up in ChainLink over the past few weeks. And so now we're over here, as mentioned, about the 8,300 level. So a pretty nice run up indeed, but the question is, how high will it go without any more partnerships? So if you are going to looking at getting involved over in ChainLink, there's a few things to consider. You know, we've probably seen quite a bit of hype in the run up to this conference. Conferences seem to have that effect on the market. However, if you do, get in, do realize that ChainLink really has that potential to get some more high-level partnerships. If they have a nice, successful relationship with Swift, other companies will come on. All they need to get is like one big insurance provider, and then up it goes again. So it's a bit speculative at this point. I think, again, personal opinion here, guys, but they are the middleman, right? They are not Swift. They are not Ripple. They are the middleman providing the link between the two ideas here. So how useful that will be going forward, I think pretty gosh darn useful. But again, they're not the only player in the space either. Why use ChainLink when you could use Eternity, for example? Same people competing in that space. Anyway, interesting things to think about. Now, if you're looking at a speculative proposal on this as well, it is only listed on Binance, EtherDelta, and Mercatox. And of course, like 95% of the volume is happening over on Binance. So if we see ChainLink get listed on Bittrex, or God forbid the Koreans should get a hold of it, the price is going to explode yet again. So it's, it's not a bad time to get into ChainLink by any means. Just from that speculative, as it gets listed on more exchanges and more people hear about it, it will increase in value. But you really got to take the long view on this one. When they get more partnerships, if they get more partnerships, always a caveat, you can never count on anything, then they will really, really do well, and they'll see a massive value come through. They got to get some really high-level partnerships with, with big banks, or with big insurance institutions, or with big shipping companies. And if only being two guys right now, they got a lot of work to do. They have got to hire more people in order to make their project more successful. They've got to have a full-time sales team, somebody calling people up and saying, hey, have you heard of ChainLink yet? You want to get involved? Here's how we can save your business money. That will be powerful. That will be effective. The two guys, look, they're obviously super smart dudes, but they can't do it together. Guys, hire more people. Hire more people. That's business advice for those dudes, I guess. Anyway, it's only $157 million market cap right now. Look, I know we've been talking about comparing it to Ripple, and it's not necessarily a straight cut comparison, but Ripple's a $10 billion company. I don't see ChainLink necessarily being a $10 billion company in a couple years, but a multi-billion dollar company? Yeah, very potentially. And again, it depends on what high-level partnerships it gets. So anyway, that's just my thoughts on ChainLink. I think it's a really great project. I like it a lot. I wish these guys all the best of luck, hire more people. And what do you guys think about it? Hit me up in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.